about Clearwater today. And I have some very special guests who have come in today to talk to us about some really cool out there, outer space type of stuff. This right here is Diego. Diego, what's your last name?
My name is Diego Martinez.
Diego Martinez. And
Thomas Keogh.
Thomas Keogh. And they, as you can see in Facebook land, work for the Delphian School in Oregon.
That's right,
Correct.
Sheridan, Oregon.
Because I want to say Oregon because I'm from New Jersey, but I controlled myself and said Oregon.
You did very well. You did not give away that you're not from Oregon.
Well, it's all about, keeping the ethnics in with my guests.
Great.
So I am doing the show on the wonderful benefactor of Consumer Energy Solutions. That is the company I work for in Clearwater. And we put on the show because we like to bring good guys and good news to everybody. I like to talk about the upcoming events. And this just fell in my lap because of Danya. So thank you, Danya, for bringing these wonderful guys to me today. So Diego, I have a question for you. So you started teaching years ago, right?
Yeah, that's
and
right.
what was your goal then for teaching?
Well, my goal was just to get kids the things that I didn't have. I grew up and I had some frustrations, some really frustrating times, and I knew education could be better. And so I dove in and I went, okay, I'm going to change all of education. So I started in with public school, and I taught public school for about a decade, and been there since. And then now I've been at Delphi in the past 3 years.
3 years.
Uh-huh.
Excellent. But you don't just bring any program to Delphian. You bring something out of this world.
That's right. That's right.
You like that?
Very nice, Lynn. I like that. Big time.
Well, it is. It's like I just told these guys, I like terra firma. I don't want to jump out of a plane.
Yeah.
But I get it. I get that there is, when you think of the size of our Milky Way galaxy and how little it is compared to, it's mind-boggling. So
Yeah.
I can only imagine that bug biting,
Right.
Is that how it happened for you? Did the bug bite?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing, I was running into barriers in school all the time. I couldn't study. That was the biggest thing that it broke down to. I couldn't study, I couldn't learn. And all these games that, when you're a kid, when you're kindergartner, first grade, second grade, you have tons of dreams and aspirations. As you start getting older, 6th grade, 7th grade, you start noticing your weaknesses. I'm bad at math. I'm having this problem. And that was what turned it on for me, is when I realized that it was just little barriers. I could, all my dreams were achievable, but I just was hitting these barriers as I was trying to educate myself.
And so were one of the dreams, I want to be an astronaut someday?
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
I remember going in my backyard and telling my brother, I was making half this stuff up, but I would tell him how big spaceships were. And I was totally making it up. And,
I love it.
Yeah, but
what's reality anyway?
Yeah, so so it's always been there. But you run into problems when you really have to do math and science. Your dreams start going, I don't know, that's not me. I can't do that. It's
a big jump.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was such a whiz at math. Not.
Well, I think many of us, we go out camping, and we spend our night amongst the stars and we shoot the shooting stars, or we see a satellite going across the sky and we dream about it, we think about it.
Yeah.
And Diego, in different ways, is living it. Maybe not as an astronaut, but in that bridge between space, technology, kids, and teaching.
Yeah.
It's really loving it.
Yeah.
I saw a line from a movie last night, and the guy was an amazing piano player, and he said in the movie, he said, I know you don't get it. I love applause. Because he realized he wasn't going to make it. As he goes, look, Carnegie Hall is great, and I know this is going to be hard to believe, but that applause is one thing. But when I see a kid achieve his dreams and he goes there, it's so much better. So is it kind of like that for you?
It's totally like that. When you empower a kid and they're going, I can achieve this, and you're doing that for them when they're in 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade, that's beautiful, because you know that they have the time, you know that they're on the right route and they're getting tools that they need. So that's beautiful. Empowerment is everything.
Now, we're going to talk about Delphian School in a minute, but the program and what you do with the kids. I I'm fascinated. Like, what is it like? What's a day in the life like for a child at Delphian under your class or your program?
Okay, so Thomas can speak.
But tell them a little bit,
sure.
tell them maybe in a minute or two, what did you do yesterday, Diego?
Okay, so yesterday,
Like I was teaching a regular classroom. You're teaching science, space, etc.
Yeah,
so good
yesterday-
luck. See if you can do it in 30 seconds.
Yesterday we had pumpkin science, and we invited the community up, and we were exploding pumpkins. I had some student assistants that were, I was teaching them the fine art of detonation and chemistry and all these different things. And it was awesome. We had all these science lab demos. We were demonstrating superconductors, all these things.
Oh my gosh!
And the kids.
This was not my grade school.
No.
I had to go to your high school.
That's right.
No.
Well, we have land and we have space, and so we can do it relatively safely, but at the same time, it is
amazing,
intense. I have
though.
watched some of these experiments they do, and you jump. I mean, you jump and you eat
yeah,
back, and
exploding
you have to create
pumpkins.
space
Yeah.
around it.
Maybe that's where Smashing Pumpkins came up
Yeah.
with their name. But you got exploding pumpkins.
Yeah.
So you were exploding them, and then you invited the community in.
Yeah, we invited the community. The kids run the experiments. We showed different demonstrations. They help out. Just stuff like this. It's kind of just routine at Delphian. We, we had the Apollo moon rocks up one time, and the kids took hold of that, and they did the workshops and everything with.
Okay, did you hear what he said? He said we had the Apollo moon rocks up. Okay, I don't know that in my communication skills or all the people I know, I would get my hands on those moon rocks. So do you want to explain how you have moon rocks?
Yeah. So while I was in public,
I mean, they're not little like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So while I was in public school, I got certified by the Space Foundation to carry the moon rocks, and so I have to do paperwork with NASA. But basically, they lend them to me, and I have to sign my life away saying that I'll return them.
But what an honor!
It's totally an honor. They're a national treasure, and few people can borrow them. You have to have a certification, and
That's
but they
unbelievable.
loan them out to schools so that way people can teach the magic of Apollo, and those lessons can help empower more students to lead the charge to space.
That's incredible. I remember, at least cartoons and stuff. I mean, back then when the moon rocks, people would be suited up.
Or the Jetsons.
We can't touch these rocks. They may make us explode.
Now, they are inside a case, admittedly. They are inside a
Okay,
case,
good.
but that's just the
But do you remember? I mean, you're younger than me, but I
Completely.
remember that. It was
Lynn,
like this whole
thank you. I'm
phenomenon.
52, Lynn. I didn't announce my age, so I'm not much younger, but at any rate, yeah.
Mr. Keogh's looking good.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn.
People
Thank
on
you,
radio
Lynn.
missed it. You're going to have to join in Facebook.
No, I do remember that. The whole concept of space and the
Yeah.
no-no and the don't touch and the danger of,
Yeah,
and all the
exactly.
excitements
Don't
connected to it. Right, exactly.
Well, where are we going next? So let me ask you this. So how can parents get their children more engaged in programs to, ignite their ability in math? Because I'm telling you guys, I cheated in math it started at the end of 5th grade because I would go home. My mom of 7 kids, she didn't have that kind of education.
Yep.
It was getting more complicated. It was hard, and I didn't want to get yelled at. And my teacher was nasty, quite frankly, no offense. And she would just be like, "Did you do the homework?" And I'd be like, "I know what the hell I was doing.
Right.
It was bad." And so I cheated because it was my survival.
Right.
Or go to school and just throw up every day.
Right.
Yeah.
So what can we do? What do you find that you can tell parents that
Well,
they can?
what helped me is I learned to study. That was the number one thing. We go in, and there's students that there's so much willingness. When you see kindergartners, just observe kindergartners for a while, and you'll see all the enthusiasm, the excitement. 1st grade,
Right.
2nd grade, 3rd grade, and then you start having some problems. There's starting to be protests. There's, what's really going on is they're running into barriers. They're getting told no. They're flunking tests. They're not moving forward. And that's exactly
they're not
where I was-
having fun.
That's where I was
And they're
at,
not
yeah.
winning.
Yeah.
Early on, they have, I think, fun because the imagination is so bright and the dynamic is so alive. And then, generally
You've got all the
speaking,
friends.
generally
Yeah.
what's speaking is not just the teachers are usually well intentioned, but then there's words they don't understand. There's physical representation they want while they study. They're making 2 steps forward, but they missed something earlier, so they're missing up on the gradients of learning.
Mm-hmm.
So these things kind of start to slowly stack on top of each other, and then you're searching for that interest. but it's lost because the child is now mistaking, I would say,
buried.
stupidity.
Yeah.
He's confused, he's buried, and he thinks he's a little bit stupid, so why be so interested?
There you go.
And that's the challenge.
What's the use?
That's
Yeah.
right. The police in my neighborhood, they knew me by name. They were like, when something was gone, you know,
And
like
we brought you.
Don't say that. Don't say
That
that, too
wasn't
loud.
on
They
your
might not
resume.
let you have the moon rocks.
I don't know exactly. I was going to say that wasn't on your resume when you came to the school, Diego.
I was.
We want to keep the moon rocks.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
you'll find statistically, you'll see a lot of kids kind of go through that phase, and I was there in a big way. And my older brother came in and he showed me. I was crying in my basement. I had to do my homework, and I'm sitting there crying. I mean, I have tears on my sheet of paper. I can't do the homework. I'm looking at it, but I just can't do it. I want to do it. I want to be a great student, but I can't do it. And so he showed me this little technique where he got the thing that I was studying. I was studying something in geography, and I was just trying to get the answer because you're graded by answers.
Sure.
But he showed me what it looked like on a globe, and I went from crying and frustrated to bright and happy and willing to learn more. And so I went, what do you know?
There's gold in them there hills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what does my older brother know that I don't know? And so after that, he told me there's this book. It's called The Basic Study Manual, and fantastic book. It teaches
By
a
Mr.
person-
Hubbard.
Yeah, that's right. It's by Mr. Hubbard, and it has all these just tips on how to
tools.
study tools.
Tools on
It's just
how
like,
to-
this is
how
how
to
you study
navigate.
algebra.
Anything.
This is how, anything. And it brightened me up, and it really just changed my education, and it made a chemistry degree possible. Without that, there's no way I would have gotten a chemistry degree.
No, and I know enough about study technology. I raised 4 kids and I homeschooled them for a little while, and without it, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, really, they just, and they're all like,
Yeah.
knock on wood, they're all doing beautifully well, and it's birthday week, so they turn 23, 25, 27, and 29 this
Oh,
week.
wow.
Yeah. I was very busy in
There you
November.
go, there you go.
Even busier in February.
Wow.
But anyway,
Yeah.
so I digress. So,
Yeah.
so that's study technology, and so now let's talk about Alan Shepard Award.
Sure.
So Alan Shepard, I'm going to show a picture to people in Facebook.
Uh-huh.
This is Alan Shepard, and he was an original Gemini program.
That's right.
And he was born in 1923 in New Hampshire, and he actually had probably the Navy Distinguished Service Medal, Flying Cross, Congressional Space Medal of Honor, NASA Distinguished Service Medal. Here's a picture shaking hands with President Kennedy in the White House, and how his capsule landed in the ocean. And I remember that. And here's one more with all his Air Force buddies. I lived through that time, It was an amazing, regal time for the United States of America.
One of our proudest moments.
Yeah,
Right,
and I'm
right.
excited because I think it's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing some cool stuff.
So now tell me what the Alan Shepard Award, and how is it that you were the winner of that?
Okay, so it's basically like a Grammy for teachers, and what they do is people are invited to apply, and they only the best of the best apply. Like people who have programs, long-running programs, they open up museums, they get observatories in their communities. So
Does it have to do with astronomy?
It has to be with aerospace.
Space, education, children, kind of
Right.
innovative to sort of tie all those together, and therefore you're furthering those concepts.
Right.
and,
Okay.
Right. So Kennedy,
creating that alive,
That's
keeping
right.
that alive.
That's
There
right.
you go.
Kennedy awarded Shepard for his contribution to space technology. So Alan Shepard and his family award an educator who contribute to education technology, because they saw that the future depends on an education technology. And so NASA, the Space Foundation, and the Astronauts Memorial Foundation, they go through these all these different applicants, and they find out who's the best of the best.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, really,
Bravo,
bravo.
bravo.
Bravo,
It's a
because the numbers, I mean, how many people have gotten it? Like, you
yeah.
don't have to give me a quote, but I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's minuscule.
Yeah, it's really cool. It hit me when we were getting the award, and I look behind me, and Buzz Aldrin is sitting behind me, the second man on the moon.
Oh.
And I'm trying to be calm and cool, and my wife starts hitting me, and she's like, Buzz Aldrin sitting behind us. And I'm like, okay, come on. I don't need more stress now. I already gotta deliver a speech.
I don't want to trip going up the stairs or
I go up
something.
and deliver my speech, and I really addressed the aerospace community on what I thought are solutions to their bottleneck. And so one of their bottlenecks is education. They can't hire enough engineers. So American engineers are a commodity, especially aerospace engineers.
Right.
I would
And
believe
so-
that. I mean, even
Yeah.
with drugs, with all of the normalized maladies that we have. I mean, drugs. I'm a big anti-drug girl, by the way. Tomorrow
sure.
I'll be doing the Great American Teach-In.
Gotcha.
I'm not getting an Alan Shepard Award, but I do that every year.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I do drug education, and so I'll be at a little charter school tomorrow. I may as well get this in now. Academy Da Vinci Charter School in Dunedin, where I am a
Great.
board member.
Okay.
My 2 children went there. It's a charter school for the arts, and now we are arts and technology as well.
Nice,
So
nice.
anyway, I'll be doing drug education to the middle schoolers, and so I think of any workforce, any area. Now, forget that. Like you said, what you had to do for chemistry, I can
Yeah.
imagine aerospace. You have to be drug free. You
Right,
have to
right,
really have all
right.
your wits about you.
Right.
Yeah, they're definitely looking for level-headed people that can engineer and get all that stuff done, and it's very important. And the work, it depends on people's lives, and new industries are being born, and the bottleneck is education. The bottleneck is people who are able, and so
Yes.
so I think I can't speak on behalf of the people that chose me, but I think we have throughout my programs there was always this competency thing, how they train the astronauts. They have a list that they have to do. So they do, when you're training an astronaut, they do checklists because failure is not an option,
Right.
and they have to get results. And,
Right.
And Delphian, and through the use of check sheets, which is part of the body of work called study technology.
Brilliant.
Right.
It's a brilliant way to learn
It
anything.
gives you competence, because you're like, okay, you got to be able to solve these types of problems if you're doing algebra, or you got to be able to do this type of science if you're doing a chemistry class.
Well, and it kind of empowers the individual. Like Diego's story specifically is he was in a public school teaching, and they were struggling at math and basic science. So he contacted our school, Delphian in Oregon, and we've created our own curriculum. Using the brilliant methodologies of study technology, we have check sheets, we have materials, we have our own textbooks. So he bought our textbooks and started to administer
Yeah.
those in a public school classroom. And what I love about his story is he didn't really care. He wasn't worried about bureaucracy or this,
No.
that. He just went and got them
He
and started
solved
to
the
teach
problem.
him.
Yeah.
Started to teach him, and then before you know, the ACT scores in a couple of years went from
Let's see
below
what Mr.
average to above
Martinez is
average.
doing. Absolutely.
With the check sheets and with the teaching them the study tools.
Now,
Yeah,
something
that's
to
simple.
know about check sheets. We're all talking about it because
Sure.
I've studied with that manner. For those who don't know why that's a brilliant thing, is that we are not all cookie cutter learners.
Correct.
Now, we know the body of information we need in order to accomplish a certain end or complete a program or get a certain certificate that says, yes, you can do Algebra 1. But we're not all going to learn it at the same time.
Correct.
So step A may take me 2 days, and step A may take someone else 15 minutes.
Right.
But
True.
then B and C, I'm rolling through, and they're going, and C, I need a half hour. That's the beauty of a check sheet. It's issued to the individual, right?
That's
And then-
exactly right, and it lays out projects to do and applications and demonstrations, and so you get individually and collectively with small groups hands-on practical project-based experience within the step-by-step guidelines
There
that
you
you're
go.
supposed to follow.
There you go. And it keeps everybody on track. And I would assume in a classroom of 20 kids, it's even easier for the teacher because each person is
Yes.
working on their thing and she comes around and then it's individual attention, right? I mean,
Without
that
question.
conversation is for you.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing, Len, is that, bless all the teachers around the world. I'll almost get emotional just talking about it, right? Because I've had the pleasure for 15 years of teaching at my school in Oregon. But the teachers are good-natured, but they're dealing with all the kids at the same level, at the same time, at the same
Plus the
speed.
bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy, testing expectations.
Pressures.
And it's time-based. So the child comes in, and you're in for 15 minutes, and you got to go. You're in for the week, you got to go.
That's right.
Once the year's over, you better have passed or not.
Sure.
Our school in Oregon, the Delphian School, we founded on the concept of proficiency, ability. Time was not the constant. Time
Right.
became the variable, and understanding proficiency, ability became the constant.
Love it.
So therefore, it allows you to approach the student as an individual.
How logical could that be?
Simple.
And for every mother or child or person who's ever gone, like, I just needed that one more time explained. I used to say to my daughter, she just graduated Point Park University in Pittsburgh with her BFA in dance. She's a dancer, but she's brilliant. Actually, she'll kick your butt on Jeopardy every time, and she's she's got it all. But math was not. I mean, you would just see. And luckily, I had 3 sons because I hit my limit. I told you I cheated, and once the fractions had to start doing stuff, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm not your girl."
That's
Samantha.
called algebra.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the point is, I explained that to her. I said, Samantha, when you get it, when I am going over it with you, I see the light bulb go on, and I know you've got it. Do you know what I'm talking about? She goes, yeah. I go,
Right.
that's called one more time through. That's called ask a question so the person teaching you can find out what it is you're missing.
Right.
And God bless these teachers, like you said. You can't do that when you're like, nope, we're all going to dance next,
Exactly.
or
Next section.
You've got your next
Yeah.
class in 10 minutes, and I've got to get you through this assignment.
gonna
Or
teach
if you
the next
didn't get through,
concept.
here you go, do it at home and homework.
That's right.
But you don't understand it.
Or
so
your
how can you
parents
do the
don't.
homework?
So then you go home and
Exactly.
you're like, I don't want to get yelled at like Lynn.
Yeah.
And then just deal with it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
amazing. Can you believe it's 5:28? We're almost
No.
no, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow.
We're going to talk a little bit more. So Clearwater is a long way from Oregon.
Yeah.
Tell me, why is it we are blessed with your presence today? Other than to be on this fabulous
Because
show.
we came to see you.
Good answer.
Yeah, thank you,
I like
Danya,
it.
again. Yeah.
I like him more by the
Exactly,
moment.
yeah.
He's awesome. So I'm here. I'll be at the Clearwater Community Center Saturday, November 17th.
Let me see that flyer.
Sure.
We're gonna host a little event there and take advantage of Diego's talents and energies.
Oh my
And we're
gosh.
gonna be there Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. It's on the corner of Fort Harrison and Drew, I think.
Oh, this is awesome. Yes, it's 133 North Fort Harrison Avenue. That's the Clearwater Community Center. And it's right on the corner of Drew Street and Fort Harrison. And it's called Space Time Workshop, free event, open to children 5 and up. Saturday, November 17th. That's this Saturday, 10 to 12. Space helmet building. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Build and launch stomp rockets, alien slime making. This is incredible, and you are coming and bringing that.
Yeah,
right, that's
yeah.
right.
And he's going to do, this is kind of an open week for professionals and other people to come into some of the schools we hear in Clearwater. So we have a sister school. We're a boarding school up in Oregon, but we have about 5 day schools, and there's one here in Florida called Delphi Academy. And so he's going to do on Thursday afternoon, this is not open for the broad public, sorry, but at the school he's going to do different events in the different classrooms as well. And just get them excited in STEM
Yeah.
and science and space, basically.
Oh my gosh, do you want to do the Great American Teach-In with me? I can
I
totally
don't-
get you in. Are
yeah.
you busy tomorrow?
I have
Semi.
You have a lot
Right.
going
Yes.
on.
We'll see,
Yeah,
maybe.
we'll see.
We'll
Well,
talk
but also,
afterwards.
so
Semi, maybe.
Hillsborough County is November 15th, Great American Teach-In. Pinellas County, which is our county, is tomorrow. So all day long, there's schools that just welcome you in. And
That's what we're doing on Thursday at the other Delphi, I think. Wow,
Awesome.
fascinating. Well, he's doing.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's great. So we're at 5:30, and I have a couple of events to talk about.
Okay.
So if you were to leave our listeners with something that's just in your heart that you want to tell them about education and or children or the space program or just something to leave them with that they can feel kind of blessed with your presence, what would you tell them today?
I think
I'm putting them on the spot.
yeah. The barriers can be taken away, and once you know that they're just barriers, they're not a permanent wall that you're always going to hit. Because once you can see a barrier, you can go around it. And I think a lot of teachers and students are running into these barriers, not because they don't know what to do about them, because they can't even see them.
True.
And so once you can see the barriers, you master your education.
So the first thing is knowing that barriers are there. They will
Right.
bury you, but you can surmount them.
Yeah.
And so
And the more
know
you
that,
the
yeah.
more you know about them, the broader.
So if you're not bright in your study, no
Right.
matter what it is, know that there are barriers and you can
right.
overcome them. Now, Delphian School is in Oregon, but we also have one in Clearwater, which is right on Drew Street. So please look it up. They have incredible summer programs as well. And we're totally out of time, but there you definitely want to go to the Delphian School. There again, people send people away to boarding school in Oregon, but also we have an incredible one right here in Clearwater.
Yeah. Great. And Lynn, I would just advise parents to slow it down. Don't be so worried about testing. Don't be so worried about A's and B's. Slow it down. Find out what your kid is interested in and find out what they don't understand.
There you
and
go.
go backwards before you keep trying to push
That's
forward.
right. Don't keep piling it on. The pile-on
That's
system
right.
doesn't work. Well,
Exactly.
thank you guys so much. Don't
Thank
leave.
you.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you about a couple of things this
Okay.
weekend. It's a busy weekend. First of all, the volunteer ministers are sending an amazing pre-Thanksgiving feast to our good people in the Panhandle. You guys know that this is my passion. I am helping the Panhandle in any way I can. I'm selling these T-shirts. Well, they're free with a donation, but cbatampabay.org/hurricane-Michael. And also we have a downtown block party, which is in Cleveland Street and Fort Harrison. You don't want to miss that. It starts at 4 p.m. on Saturday. Free food, free entertainment, amazing fun for the kids. We're out of time. Thank you, everybody, for joining
Thank
the Talk
you
of
for
the
having us as a
Town.
guest, Lynn. Appreciate
And we'll
it.
see you next Tuesday.
See ya.